Hola, my YouTube friends. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my personal van life tips for when you are solo traveling. The most important thing that you should do as someone who's doing van life, and especially as someone who is traveling alone, is letting people know your location. It's very, very important, just in case, in those very rare occasions where you're on a trail and you get hurt, you lose cell service and you can't get a hold of anybody. You get into a car accident, very rare things that could happen, but probably won't. It's still best to let someone know where you are, whether that be a significant other, a parent, a sibling, a trusted friend, anybody that, you can trust and find reliable in those times where you need to let it be known where you are. One of the things that I did personally, I use an app called Life 360. I'll put it down here below my face. It's a free app that you can download onto your phone. You register through the app and it tracks your location based off of your location of your phone, and it will relay that information to a big map, and basically you set up a bubble, so you invite people that you trust. For instance, for me it was my parents. My parents downloaded the app. They would see my face on the map and they would see pretty much exactly, I think within like a mile or two maybe, where I was, real time. It would even show if I was moving. That's definitely number one, letting someone that you know and trust, and someone that's reliable, that you can trust them with your location. Okay, so tip number two, and this is something that's also very important. It's basically always having a backup plan for, navigating yourself. Primarily, I would use my GPS on my phone, Google Maps. I guess there's a bunch of different other ones that you can use, but always knowing your location and being prepared for where you need to go. Being alert as far as road closures, tolls, things that could alter your route or trip. And along those same lines, also having a backup. So I have a Garmin that I use, because you don't always have cell service on the road. So unless you want to take the time to download, offline maps through Google Maps, which kills a lot of your phone storage, it's just nice to have one of these. This was, I think, $80, $90 on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart, Target. I have a paper atlas as well, because it never hurts to be super prepared as far as, your timeline and your destination and how best to get there. Number three, and just for those emergency situations, and I'm really glad that I did this on my trip because it did come in handy, and that's just to have a little kind of stash of cash hidden somewhere in your van. If you watched any of my videos, when I was in Florida, I lost my wallet. And, I lost my debit card and my credit card and my driver's license. I lost everything. So it was really good that I kind of was prepared for that, because I had some petty cash, loose money hidden here in the van, just for those emergencies that can come up. I didn't have a whole lot of money, and you really don't need to have a lot of money. I tried to think about, okay, what happens if I don't have my wallet and my car breaks down? I need to kind of think about how much that would cost to put my car in the garage. So maybe $300 or $400 for that. Let's say I have to spend a night in a hotel, or 2 nights, that might be another $200, $300. So I tried to keep at least $1,000 in my car. I'm not going to tell you where, but it's definitely a good thing to have. It's there if you need it. If you don't need it, it's, You can just put it back in the bank when you get home, or use it for a rainy day or whatever, but definitely a good thing to think about before you go on your road trip. I think it's really important to take care of your vessel, your home, your van, to really dedicate as much time as you can to making sure that your vehicle is roadworthy, whether that be before you go out on your trip, halfway through the trip, all the time, really. Checking your oil constantly, checking your tires constantly, making sure that your spare tire is there in the first place, but making sure that it's inflated. You never know when you're going to need it. Making sure you have the equipment to change a tire, a jack, a wrench, a lug nut wrench, and all that kind of stuff. Having jumper cables in case your battery dies. Anything that you can do to make sure and maintain the reliability of your vehicle is super important. Having a really well-stocked toolkit is also really important to have. Something that has a couple wrenches and screwdrivers and some duct tape, just some common tools that you might need, can really help and go a long way. A pair of box cutters, scissors, like industrial size scissors, just some really reliable tools in case you ever need them. When you do need vehicle maintenance, going to a reputable garage or a mechanic is very, very serious. So for me, because I have a Dodge vehicle, all the oil changes that I'd had done, all the tire rotations, anything that I had to get my car into a garage for, I took it to a Dodge dealership. These are mechanics that are trained to work on your specific vehicle. They know the ins and outs of it. They'll be able to tell better if there's something that needs to be replaced or fixed, rather than, say, a mom or pop garage, that you've never been to before. And I'm not trying to take business away from mom and pop places, but when you're on the road and you're not near home, it's not really wise to take those risks, and it will hopefully prolong your trip and nothing major will go wrong. Another thing is being prepared yourself as far as, different climates that you might experience. I had a summer warm weather type wardrobe, and then I had a cold weather winter type wardrobe. So it's really important to be prepared for all types of weather. In, out west where the humidity is very dry, it can get quite chilly at night, even though it's really warm during the day. So you have to think about those things not only for planning, but for your own safety. Along those lines, you need to have appropriate types of bedding. You can't just have a warm weather sleeping bag and think that that's going to keep you warm when it's quite cold outside. I have a 20-degree sleeping bag, meaning that that'll keep you relatively warm till about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and below that, you're gonna really start to feel it. Don't catch yourself off guard. Make sure you're prepared for that. Another thing that I have with me too, even though I didn't experience it, I have a small collapsible snow shovel in case I ever ran into snow, in case I ever got stuck on the road, or if I ever got plowed in. That was an option for me. So all those things you still have to keep in mind, even when you're in warm weather, especially if you're going to be traveling around the whole country. Making sure you have a reliable umbrella, footwear, boots, something that's not just flip-flops or sandals. Making sure you have durable shoes that in case you need to get out in the rain or you need to get out into the snow, you have that option. Things that you can bundle up with, a hat, a scarf, a heavy jacket. Really try and prepare for those cold weather times, which may or may not happen, but something good to have in mind. Water, water, water is so important to have. It's a necessity. It is a no questions asked thing that you need to have in the van. I always had at least 3 to 4 gallons of water with me, because you never know when you are not going to have access to water, or at the very least clean water. It's so important. Even if you're not eating and drinking with it, sometimes you have to bathe with it. You may have to clean a wound. I'm not trying to make this like a horror story, but these are all things that could happen potentially. And especially when you're by yourself, it's really important to take these things into consideration. And along that same line, making sure you have a first aid kit, making sure you have, Band-Aids, hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, anything that can sterilize a wound if you need to. As well as a first aid kit, you also need to think about sunscreen, hat, something to block the sun off of you in case you are stuck out in the sun somewhere. Tweezers is a big one. Thorns, splinters, stingers from an insect. Tweezers are a huge thing to have. Same with toenail clippers, just having those little things available to you. Don't wait till the last minute because you never know when you're going to need those things. I'm really trying not to be preachy. I feel like I'm yelling at you guys, but these are really important things to have, especially when you are solo traveling. You don't have that other person to rely on if you were traveling with someone else. So you really have to think 2 steps ahead, really, really prepare, because you don't know what's going to happen. And when you're alone, it's already scary enough sometimes. So when you're super prepared, when those big occasions come up, when those scary situations happen, you can have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that you're at least prepared and have thought about these things and what you were going to do. I'm sure all of you that follow me that do solo traveling, I'm sure you have tips of your own, great tips. I'd love to hear some of them. Please leave them in the comments. But I thought this would be helpful for anybody that's thinking about solo traveling or van life. And these are just a few of the things that helped me the most to be prepared. These are the things that I've recognized and learned the most on my trip. So I thought this would be helpful to all of you. Thank you for watching. And I will see everybody on the next video. See ya.